Hey everybody, welcome back to the video lessons. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. The first group, I've done 4 or 5 of these. The first group of lessons that I did were all drum set oriented. A lot of like playing different fills and grooves and stuff like that. And today I want to do some vibraphone. So this video I'm going to talk specifically about pedaling. I will do some mallet dampening probably in the next video. There's a lot of stuff to cover when you're talking about pedaling and dampening and all that stuff together. And so just for the sake of time, I'm just going to do pedaling today. And I'll give you guys some kind of exercises and stuff to do to work on pedaling. So this video is going to be great for anybody who's trying to get into vibraphone a little bit. Maybe students, high school age students, or band directors who are kind of introducing vibraphone a little bit to their students. Maybe even college students who are starting to play a little bit of vibraphone for an ensemble piece or something like that, and they want to just get like some basics of how to pedal down a little bit. So to start off, when we're using the pedal, we really only need a little bit of our foot on there, and you'll see this in a little bit when I go over to the vibraphone and I start doing the exercises and things. But we only really need a little bit of our foot. I always kind of say, like, I put my big toe on it, right? And then the other thing is that the pedal has a lot of leeway, and we don't necessarily need to push the pedal all the way to the ground or let it back up all the way until it stops and hits the bars, right? So we want it to hit the bars, but we really only need it to kind of tap the bar and then come back down. So the technique that we're going to be doing today is called after pedaling. And so after pedaling, the really what we're going for when we after pedal is we're going to play the note, and then after we play the note, that's after pedaling, after we play the note, we're going to bring the damper up, hit the bar, and then we're going to bring the damper back down, right? So for anybody who's done some drum set playing, this can be a little bit weird because it feels reverse of a kick drum pedal, right? It's the opposite of what we do to play kick drum, in that when we want to make contact on a kick drum, we have to press down, and now when we want to make contact with the damper to the bar, we have to pick our foot up. Okay? And again, it doesn't need to be a ton of our foot on the pedal. Like I said, I like to use like my big toe, and then when I'm picking my foot up, it's a very small movement. Again, I'm gonna do the video. I'm gonna show the video down near my foot so you can see what's going on. But I wanted to kind of get that across first before we start talking about these exercises. So this very first exercise that I'm going to do is a really great way to just kind of reinforce scales too, especially for high school students. Reinforce scales while you're practicing this thing. And so I'm going to flip the camera around and so get set up so that we can so that you guys can see everything that I'm doing. And we're going to talk a little bit about some different exercises that we can do to work on just pedaling today. Cool? Alright, so like I said, I don't have to have a lot of movement in that pedal in order to do what I'm doing. So for me, I like to kick I'm using the Yamaha pedal, and we've got this wide foot pedal here. I like to kind of kick it off to the side, and I really only kind of use a portion of it. I kind of hang around here. So there's a lot left over kind of on the far right side over here. And then when I'm doing this, like I said, I'll put my foot on, and then I really only need to move it about that far. And that's kind of even a little more extreme than I would even need to move it most of the time. I definitely don't need to go all the way down. And I want to avoid going all the way down to avoid that click, right? So, all I'm really doing is I'm using my ankle to push it down, but it's really just like I feel like I'm putting weight on it more so than I'm pushing it, right? It's really just the weight of my foot kind of coming down, and then when I pick it up, it's going to be this quick motion that hits the bars and then comes right back down, right? So hopefully you can see that in the video a little bit to the not foot cam video. You can see the bars kind of picking up and then coming back down really quickly, right? So do that a little bit before we start doing this exercise. Just get used to what it feels like to have your foot on that pedal, to do a quick motion up to the bars and then come back down right away, right? That motion, like I said, feels strange, especially for drum set players. That motion can feel really strange to start off with. So just take some time to kind of get used to that first. Then I want you to just play a note, and then you're going to pick up the pedal to stop the note and put it back down. Okay? Let it ring for a second. Pick it up and let it back down. There's still a hair of a resonance from that. If you're standing right over it, or maybe even in the camera, you can still hear it. But if that resonance isn't going to make it out, super far into the audience. It's not ringing that loudly. Okay. All right. Give it that second to ring, because if you try and dampen it right away afterwards, it's gonna cause a little bit of a problem. Now, I want you to play this. I'm just using F right now in F major scale, but you can use any scale you want. Like I said, this is a really good chance to kind of move around and reinforce scales while you're doing this. Or if you're, whatever you're working on your melodic minors, play melodic minor scales while you're doing this. Ultimately it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to use 2 notes now, F and G. So I'm going to play the F. I'm going to let that ring. Then I'm going to play the G, bring the pedal up to hit the note, and then to dampen, and then bring the pedal back down right away after the G. Okay? So it'll go. Alright, so that is hitting the G after I've already struck the G with the mallet. That's hitting the G and coming back, hitting the notes and coming back down. So there's a split second where both the F and the G are ringing together. Okay? Okay? Now, I'm going to turn on a metronome. I have it set to 80 right now, and I'm going to play whole notes up the scale. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm going to play the whole note on F, starting on F major. I'm going to go whole note, and then I'm going to play G on the next whole note. I'm going to put the pedal down on E, let's scratch that. I'm going to play F on the downbeat, G on the next downbeat. I'm going to bring the damper up on the E of 1, and then back down on the and of 1. Okay? So it will look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? So I'm going to do that again just between F and G for right now. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. So 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 2. Cool. Now I'm going to take that up the full F major scale and back down. Okay, so really focus on making sure that you're getting that pedal to come, that you're getting the damper to come up on the E and back down on the and, so that we're getting that nice sustained connection between each note, right? So we want to make sure we're getting that, right, that connection from one note to the other, and not, right? We don't want that gap in between the two notes. We want them to be all smoothly connected together. Alright, so again, that exercise is starting on F. now, once you start feeling comfortable doing that up and back down, in whole notes, then we're going to speed it up. So we're going to go up to half notes. Now, don't rush this process. Let yourself take the time to really feel comfortable about bringing it down and then back up, right? Or sorry, up and then back down. Keep it inverted. So really focus on getting that to go up and back down at the time that we want it to, right? Again, don't rush this process. Take your time. Do a bunch of scales, just working on that. And then let's go up to half notes now. So same idea. It's just that, we're doubling the speed of it, right? So instead of it always being down on the E of 1, up on the E of 1 and back down on the and of 1, it's going to be up on the E of 1 and the E of 3, back down on the and of 1 and the and of 3. So... Try that again. Ready, go. Cool. So that's the basis of kind of what we need to do for pedaling, for after pedaling. Now, there's a great book called Pedaling and Dampening, Vibraphone Pedaling and Dampening by Friedman. Let me double check the name of it so I'm not telling you the wrong thing. Vibraphone Technique, Dampening and Pedaling by Dave Friedman. It's the book that I recommend for this kind of stuff, especially for the pedaling section, for the dampening section, the mallet dampening stuff, and I will talk about that a lot more next week. But it's a great book for pedaling too. So the exercises at the very beginning of it, starting on page 4, are meant for dampening, but they work really great for they work really great for pedaling too. So they're meant to be played with the pedal down the whole time, but you can also play them working on pedaling, and they're a little bit wacky tonally. So just keep that in mind. But you can do that. Okay, and it goes on from there. Like I said, they're a little bit wacky tonally, but they're really cool, and they're great ways to work on both reading and this dampening thing. And the thing that's nice about this versus a scale is it starts to activate more parts of your brain. So you're not just going straight up and straight back down. Now you have to focus on all right, what note is next? Where is it on the keyboard? There's a lot more variables going on, and so it starts to really put pressure on your technique a little bit, because some of those things that you feel like you maybe have feeling really confident might start to go out the window a little bit. So the Vibraphone dampening and pedaling, Dave Friedman. I'll put a link to that in the description of this as well. All right, so that's the basic level of pedaling. Make sure you check out the Dave Friedman book. Also, I want to do another shout out, as always, to Music Around Toledo for giving me a place to teach and a place to do these video lessons. I'd also like to do a shout out for Innovative Percussion, which all my things are kind of messed up here, but Innovative Percussion, the best sticks and mallets on the market. These particular mallets that I was using today, these are the DM21s. From my, the signature mallet of my former professor, Dan Moore, out at the University of Iowa. So check out Innovative's mallets, sticks and mallets. Actually, all of these are Innovative mallets that are tucked in here right now. Thank you to Innovative. Thank you to Music Around Toledo, and thank you to all of you who watch these videos. And hopefully, this one, like the other ones, has been helpful. I know it's going to be kind of a different demographic because it's vibraphone, it's concert percussion, jazz percussion, not it's mallet percussion, not drum set like the last ones have been. But I hope a lot of people can still find this really helpful and beneficial. Particularly maybe kind of beginning students, people who are just getting their feet wet with vibraphone. So thank you again, and please keep watching and sharing, and I appreciate it. Thanks.